Hello, Mary Me. So, I want to review another book, and this time it's one of my absolute favorite New Age books, and it is Star Signs by Linda Goodman. Now, this book is published in so many editions, so many different covers. This is the Norwegian translation, that's why it says Nye Stjernetegn on the front, but it is Star Science is just a translated edition, and you can find it in all sorts of things. And usually you don't have to pay a lot for this book because it's starting to get a bit older, and it's so common that you can basically usually find it in bargain bins and so on. And I do really, really recommend it because it's very, very good. Now, let me explain how I came to get this book. I am an immortalist, and I had this friend who were a professional tarot reader. I've since lost contact with her, but she's a great woman. Her name is Issa, and we disagreed about about attaining eternal life. She's very much into the reincarnation and so on and so forth. But because I'm so interested in it, she recommended this book, and I was okay. How is a book on astrology? I mean, astrology is great and all, but how is it gonna help me with attaining physical immortality? And she said, no, 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 just get the book, it's in there. And yeah, it's in there. There's a chapter in this book about attaining physical immortality. It's a pretty good one. Now, this is not a astrology book. There's a lot of astrology in here, that's true. But really, this is a book that tells you about how to live a spiritual life, basically. It is a whole package. It's about numerology. It's about how to have a balanced and spiritual element you're eating. Everything. And yes, let me just discuss the section with about physical immortality. It's in there, and there's not a lot of books on this topic around. Mhm. Basically, the concept is that Goodman believes that we are all part of a death cult. Basically, we tell ourselves so many times we're gonna die in our time, all of these things, and it programs us. And she feels that it sort of becomes a self-fulfilling thing. That if we eliminate the concept of we are gonna age and die from our belief system, and in addition did spiritual exercises to renew our bodies, and so on and so forth, we could attain eternal life. Now, of course, it is a bit of a chip in that since the author unfortunately is no longer with us, but she didn't die of old age. As far as I know, she got an illness. But yeah, I think the concept is a very good one, and definitely it is something that people repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. And I don't know if not repeating that will give you eternal life in and of itself. However, I definitely know that just repeating the concept that we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die definitely isn't gonna help things. Well, let's look about what this book contains. And like I said, even if it's named Star Signs, this isn't just a book that goes through all of the star signs, it's so much more. So, yes, it begins with some dedications from the author to various members of her family, friends, and so on and so forth. And then, yeah, I don't know what the chapters are called in the English books, but so I'm just gonna tell what they're about instead of reading their names. There's a foreword, and then there is a chapter on using astrology to guide you when looking for a job and your career, and advice for when it comes to astrology and other spiritual means on how to attain money and have um, and be economically secure. Because Linda Goodman recognizes that yes, the material isn't everything, definitely. However, you can't do a lot of spiritual work if you have to worry about where your next meal is coming to get, and if you can afford to pay for medical expenses for your kids. Now we don't have to worry about that in Norway, but I know that you Americans do, and so on and so forth. So while money isn't everything and the material isn't everything, if you don't have it, that can definitely hinder your spiritual development. Next chapter, it is about basically health and eating, and they are about how to eat according to your star sign and so on, and also general ideas about how to bring a spiritual dimension to your food. And then there is a chapter on guides, gurus, and avatars, all of these kinds of things. Her opinions on that. And all of these chapters are excellent. This is a great book. And it is then there is a chapter on karma and reincarnation and all of those things. And there's a chapter on Kabbalah, numerology, and the mysteries of numbers. There's a chapter on the power of colors, color therapy, and so on and so forth. And there's a chapter on harmonious communication, the value of silence, and also how to use music and sound in your spiritual life. Then there's the section on the attaining physical immortality part, and I've forgotten that chapter 237. Was it about? Oh yeah, it's about basically uh, how we as three-dimensional beings can contact entities or in the fourth dimension. Yeah, I just had to check what the chapter was about. So yes, and there's a chapter on cell regeneration, basically healing through energizing the cells. I'm not talking about scientific cell regeneration, but basically using spiritual means to energize even the tiniest parts of us. Um, and then there are some comments from the translator, which probably will not be a part in the English language version, and afterward. And like I said, there's a huge topic, amount of topics in this, and while there is a lot of astrology and a lot of ways to use astrology in your spiritual and daily life, it's definitely not the only thing this book is about. Now, does this fall into your typical pagan or New Age categories? I would say this falls right smack into New Age. It's have so many New Age concepts in here, and it's great. But I also think that somebody who is pagan or even who is a ceremonial magician will find a lot of things in this book that is to their liking. Yes, there's a lot of New Age jargon and so on and so forth. But if you open your mind and don't feel that New Age necessarily is bad or less serious than other forms of occultism, then you can definitely get a lot out of this. Like I said, my favorite is the chapter on physical immortality. But there's so much good information in here about how to basically include spiritual concepts into your daily life? No, of course. Do the books have drawback? Of course it does. First of all, it's a book about where a huge part of the book is about spiritual, physical immortality, where the author is actually unfortunately dead. That sort of her method obviously did not work for her. Of course, she didn't die of old age, so yeah. Still think the method is very interesting. Uh, the book is also sort of like a hodgepodge. I mean, there's Kabbalah in there, there's numerology, there's astrology, there's karma, there's Eastern concepts, there's gurus, there's. I mean, New Age is sort of known for that hodgepodge philosophy. Basically, just take whatever spiritual concept, a little bit here, a little bit there, and just put it in a pot and make your own pop version of spirituality from it. And personally, I don't think that's bad. But I know a lot of people have a problem with that. Many people feel that it's disrespectful for the practices that they borrow from. I don't feel that way. I think that it's only disrespectful if you call yourself a Kabbalist. For example, if you are a New Ager and you use a bit of Kabbalah, that's not disrespectful. If you call yourself a Kabbalist, that's something else. It's like, let's say I get a violin and I like to play it now and again. There's nothing disrespectful in that, but if I call myself a violinist, like in the profession, that might be disrespectful because I'm not really delving very deeply into it. And the same way, of course, with so many topics, there's a limit to how much in depth it can go, but basically, this is one of the books that you pull it off. Even if there's a lot of concepts, Linda Goodman ties together very well so that it doesn't feel very shallow. So, yeah, while this is definitely New Age, and if you hate New Age and everything New Age stands for, and the sort of hodgepodge spirituality that is very typical in New Age, then this book isn't for you. However, if you can live with that, or if you like me, like that sort of blending of ideas, then this book is definitely something I think you will like. It's one of my, I think it's definitely on my top 10 occult book favorites. Amazing, and I recommend it for everyone. So, yeah, I don't find really many faults with this book, and I guess there's a limit to how long I can just gush over it and tell you how amazing it is. So yeah, do get it. Now, I do recommend that you look a bit around because it's a lot of a few decades old New Age books. You can find them very cheaply because they are printed usually in huge quantities and sold off cheaply when they go out of popularity. And you can quite easily, I mean, this is still very popular. There's so many of them out there that very often you can find this in bargain bins and so on and so forth. So I wouldn't pay full price for this unless you have to, and that's not because the book doesn't deserve full price, because it does, because it's so easy to find it cheaply. And I mean, cheap books is good, right? So yeah, this is my review of Star Sign by Linda Goodman. Get the book. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It's amazing. I love this book. And as you can see, it's been read quite a bit. So, yeah. I have almost dropped it in the bathtub a few times too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. Have a great day, and blessed be.